Welcome to This Explainer. There's a massive structural shift happening literally right under our noses in the world of automotive maintenance. We are moving away from a century of mechanical craftsmanship and hurtling straight into a highly digitized, modular future. It's an absolute revolution that's going to change not just how our cars are built, but exactly how they're fixed, and ultimately, how long we actually get to keep them.
So it begs a pretty compelling question, doesn't it? Will your next car actually last 20 years? On one hand, we all kind of have this dream of buying that one perfect vehicle that's going to reliably serve our family for 2 whole decades. But on the other hand, we're facing the harsh realities of rapidly advancing modern technology. Today, we're going to unpack the conflict between that 20-year dream and the actual economic realities of our electric vehicle future.
Okay, let's dive into our roadmap for today. We'll start with number 1, the end of traditional mechanics. Then 2, the 20-year car dilemma. 3, the right to repair. 4, BYD versus Leap Motor compared. And finally, number 5, the EV buyer checklist.
Kicking things off with Section 1, the end of traditional mechanics. This is the paradigm shift in maintenance.
Honestly, the days of popping the hood to rebuild a cylinder head or synchronize a timing belt are rapidly coming to an end. In what we can call the artisanal internal combustion era, mechanics have really had to master increasingly complex systems, things like EGR valves, particulate filters, and variable geometry turbines. It's high precision, incredibly time-intensive manual labor. And as cars age, those repairs just become economically unsustainable. Now contrast that with the industrial EV era. We are moving to a vastly simplified architecture driven by digital diagnostics and modular, plug-and-play electronic swaps.
So what does this mean on the ground? Well, the future facility is no longer your traditional repair shop. It's basically becoming a high-tech modular regeneration center. It's treating cars like upgradable appliances, or as the sources perfectly phrase it, an electro-domestico model. Instead of spending days pulling apart a greasy engine block, technicians will just unbolt the floor of your EV, swap out an exhausted battery module with a freshly regenerated one, and have your car running at 100% efficiency in just a few hours. The mechanic is basically transforming into a high-voltage logistics specialist.
Moving right along to Section 2, the 20-year car dilemma and the friction points of EV longevity.
Okay, so if electric cars are so simple and modular, can a family really keep one for 2 whole decades? To answer that, we have to walk through 3 critical friction points. First up is chemical degradation. Even the absolute best lithium iron phosphate, or LFP, batteries are going to lose capacity over time. A 15 to 20% loss over 10 years is totally manageable, but over 20 years, your range drops significantly. Second is technological obsolescence. 20 years in automotive tech is literally a geological era. By 2046, today's charging speeds will seem completely prehistoric, and finding replacement chips for aging advanced driver assistance systems will be nearly impossible. Finally, we have software DRM. This is the very real risk of manufacturers using digital rights management to lock out third-party repairs, effectively forcing you to scrap the car. Plus, we can't forget the human element here. A compact car might be perfect for a young couple right now, but in 20 years as kids grow up, your family's space needs will have changed entirely.
So here's the crucial takeaway: number 10 to 12 years. Our sources suggest we really need to bust this myth of the 20-year vehicle. Expecting an EV to last as your primary family car until 2046 is a pretty big stretch. However, buying an EV today brilliantly solves your transport needs for a solid 10 to 12-year horizon, providing exceptionally low maintenance and super high efficiency during that specific window.
Which brings us to Section 3, the right to repair, the legal shield against monopolies.
Now, hitting that 10 to 12-year sweet spot depends entirely on the regulatory battleground. We're talking about the right to repair, which is essentially an EU legal framework. It mandates open standards, integrates the circular economy, and critically guarantees independent access to onboard diagnostics, or OBD. Without this policy lever, manufacturers could easily turn their cars into locked walled gardens. This legal shield is what actually protects your wallet. It ensures that your local independent mechanic can access diagnostic data to service your car affordably without the manufacturer locking those components behind proprietary software gates. And let me tell you, the pushback against closed systems is massive. The independent aftermarket in Europe is an economic titan. We're talking hundreds of thousands of workshops. If any manufacturer tries to completely blind the post-sales network and monopolize repairs, they are going to face a wall of antitrust litigation and sanctions. It's exactly this powerful economic and legal force that ensures our cars remain repairable assets rather than disposable electronics.
All right, let's dive into Section 4,
BYD versus Leap Motor compared. Two philosophies, one democratization.
Now, what's really interesting about this is seeing how the democratization of the battery pack is actually playing out in the real world. Let's look at two cutting-edge entrants into the European market because we have two entirely different philosophies at play here. On one side, there's the BYD Auto 2. It's a compact crossover with 177 horsepower, and they leverage a tech giant philosophy of total vertical integration. That means they make almost everything in-house. On the other side, we have the Leap Motor B05. It's a slightly larger hatchback pushing 218 horsepower, and it utilizes a European synergy approach through a huge strategic partnership with Stellantis. Both are using affordable, long-lasting LFP battery tech, but they're applying it in very distinct ways. Let's start with BYD. They actually started as a massive global battery giant before they even made cars. Their Blade battery is an absolute marvel of safety. It actually survives direct nail penetration tests without catching fire or suffering thermal runaway. And in the cabin, they've completely applied that tech giant logic. They noticed people prefer to use maps vertically on their smartphones, right? So they gave the Auto 2 a rotating infotainment screen that you can literally flip from horizontal to vertical. It's a really fascinating bit of engineering intuition. On the flip side, Leap Motor leans heavily into its European connections. The B05 completely avoids that soft, swaying feel you sometimes get with imported cars because its suspension was meticulously tuned at the historic Balocco proving ground in Italy. It offers very precise European handling. And remember our earlier point about families outgrowing their cars over a 20-year lifespan? Well, the B05 addresses space needs directly with a massive 2.73-meter wheelbase. It offers incredible legroom that you typically only find in much larger, far more expensive vehicles.
Finally, let's wrap up with Section 5, the EV buyer checklist, defending your family's mobility rights.
This right here is the ultimate takeaway from today's explainer. We want to equip you with highly useful, actionable information. You should quite literally keep these 4 points in mind for the dealership. Number 1, independent diagnostics. Ask if your local, trusted mechanic can actually access the car's onboard diagnostics. Number 2, fair portal pricing. Does the manufacturer charge exorbitant fees for independent shops to access those digital diagnostic portals? Number 3, and this is huge, modular battery access. Ask if the battery is designed for cell-level regeneration or if it's just a sealed box that forces a total, wildly expensive replacement down the road. And number 4, digital key ownership. Make sure you have the right to share or transfer digital software unlocks without paying a toll to the manufacturer. Going through this checklist ensures these macro industry shifts don't negatively impact your family budget.
At the end of the day, it all boils down to this one crucial question to ask yourself before your next big purchase. Are you buying a repairable asset or a disposable gadget? Thank you so much for joining us for this explainer. We really hope these insights and the buyer checklist empower you to make highly informed decisions in this rapid new era of mobility. Until next time, keep asking the smart questions.